What's up, folks? My name is Miranda, this is Miranda in the Wild, and these are the top 5 pieces of gear in 2020 that I am most psyched on. This is my show, gosh darn. So one of the big upgrades that I made this year was actually to my backpacking tent. I'm sort of embarrassed to say that I haven't had a backpacking tent that I love in a really long time, maybe ever, until the Flash Air. So this is the REI Flash Air. This is actually the Flash Air 1. I couldn't get my hands on a 2, although I would probably go with the Flash Air 2. That would fit both me and Nala. She is a tent hog, and we need more space. What makes this tent cool? It's super lightweight, especially for REI. Like, making a tent this light is pretty cool. The 2-person version of this tent comes in under 2 pounds, and then this tent's minimum trail weight is just a little bit over 1 pound, so like 1 pound 4 ounces. And if you're hiking with trekking poles, you can actually use your trekking poles to set this tent up and just cut down on weight even more. The 2-person version of this tent has pretty big vestibules on either side, and so I know there'll be enough space for my backpack and all of my stuff, as well as Nala in the tent and the Nala stuff outside as well. And that's my tent. The next piece of gear that I upgraded in 2020 was my insulating jacket. My Nano Puff to be, wait, that's the old one. This is not the Nano Puff you're looking for. This year, Patagonia released a new type of insulation with PrimaLoft called P.U.R.E. P.U.R.E is an acronym that stands for Produced Using Reduced Emissions. P.U.R.E. So this is the new Patagonia Nano Puff, which is using pure synthetic insulation. They look exactly the same, but they're not. Basically, when PrimaLoft used to be made, there were these massive heaters, like the size of a cafeteria, that would bond the layers of insulation together to create a sheet that is then between the layers of your jacket. It's like an insulation sandwich, basically. But the downside is that these massive heaters take a lot of fuel, basically, to heat stuff. The cool thing about P.U.R.E is that it doesn't require these heaters to bond the synthetic insulation together. So it's really just cured in the air, which is pretty neat. That's my jacket. Hooray! Shoes. For those of you that have called me out for only wearing hiking boots, I had a weird injury in 2015, and wearing hiking boots was like really the only way that I was able to get back on the trails quickly. But now it's been 5 years, and I feel like I'm ready for something different, and I have been convinced to try trail runners with the Timp 2s. Ta-da! The funny thing about these shoes is that I actually went into REI looking for Lone Peak 4.5s, which are one of the most popular ultras for thru hikers on like the PCT and the AT. And after talking to the footwear specialists there, they actually convinced me to go with the Timp 2. The big difference between the Lone Peak series and the Timp series is that the Timp has more cushion in the midsole, and then the reason that I really settled on getting Ultras was actually because of the toe box. Ultra has this toe box that they call foot shape toe box. You'd think that all shoes are foot shaped, but that's what Ultra calls their toe box. And basically all that means is that there's this really like extra spacious toe box in these shoes that is supposed to be designed to allow your toes to splay out in the shoe, specifically your big toe to be able to fall in like a naturally straight line and not get pushed in words. And for me, where I was looking for something that was going to give me a more natural, stable base, that was really important. I am really excited to go back to using trail runners. They're definitely a lot lighter than my hiking shoes. I want to be clear that I'll be hiking in these. I will probably not be running in them, although they're very comfortable and I could be convinced. I regret saying that. Yeah, new shoes, Timp 2s. The reason that I wanted a stove like this is that before I've used a 2-burner stove in the van, and the van is obviously not that big. And so 2-burner stove just took up way too much space. It was huge. It didn't fit in my little like cooking cubby here. And so I wanted to go with a 1-burner stove. And I opted for the Kovea because it has an integrated pot. So this stove is a butane stove. You put the butane canister in over here, and then it actually comes with this pot and lid that sits on top of the stove, or this grill. So the grill you can use to boil like water in your own pot or whatever. This pot goes like this, and then you can cook stuff on it there. It's really easy to light, it's really small and compact, and it's kind of cute. Cute and practical. The pot is still dirty. That's proof that I used it. So now we got a new sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. I might be more excited about that than she is.
Does it need water or anything? Or
Excuse me.
Snacks or
This is the Ruffwear Highlands sleeping bag and Highlands dog sleeping pad. I am so excited because it finally means that I don't have to carry Nala's sleep stuff and Nala doesn't have to sleep in my sleeping bag with me. These are great for backpacking because they actually fit into her Palisades pack from Ruffwear and Nala loves them, which is really neat. So this is Nala's current sleep system. This is actually an REI DIY that I made with one of my coworkers a little while ago. This is her sleeping pad, which is a cut down Z Light from Thermarest. And then this is her sleeping bag, which is made out of an old kid's sleeping bag. This thing is huge and it just doesn't stuff down very small and it's overall just really, really bulky. And then I have to carry this in addition to my sleeping pad. So this is the sleeping bag on its own, and you can see it's like very dog shaped, which is something I wasn't quite able to achieve in my DIY version. And then it has this long zipper on the side, which is great for Nala because I can unzip it, I can open it up, and then once she lies down, I can like tuck her in and it helps keep her warm, but also gives her like still some mobility and space. And on the back of this bag, you have the sleeping pad sleeve. This is one thing that I think that Ruffwear did really well. This sleeping pad can be wrapped up with the webbing here, but then you can also Velcro this to itself so you don't have that the scratchy part of the Velcro scratching up the sleeping bag. Nice job, Ruffwear. The other thing is that there is this like waterproof side to the sleeping pad and it's kind of grippy. So we've actually been using this at home on the floor and this keeps it from sliding around. If your dog is anything like Nala, where she'll try and like paw at stuff and like move it around to get comfortable, this actually keeps the sleeping bag and the sleeping pad from sliding around on the floor so she can like do that and like nest. Okay, well, you're gonna have to just trust me that she really likes the sleeping bag. These are my top 5 pieces of gear that I am most excited to use in 2020. I am especially interested in lightweight backpacking, so if you have any ultralight gear suggestions, please leave those in the comments below. And if you go backpacking with your dog and want more dog tips, also let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the wild. Bye! I think that's all I have to say about that. It is a stove, and I like it.